A little over a month ago, I was on my way to work driving in my car. It was a beautiful and a very normal day. I was dressed nice, and the radio was playing a song that I loved, so naturally I turned up the music. Everything was perfect at this point in time. When I say nothing, I mean absolutely nothing would have indicated that just seconds from this point in time, I would have had tears streaming down my face. So, if everything was fine then, what was the cause for the sudden emotions that I was experiencing that day? I didn't know it then, but I know it now. I was having a mental breakdown. This is what prompted me to look into the topic that I chose for my speech today, which is emotional intelligence. First of all, what is emotional intelligence? Emotional intelligence is all about the awareness, control, and expression of emotions, or as I like to say, ACE. It's also the ability to monitor your emotions, and it guides your way of thinking and acting. To simplify, emotional intelligence is all about managing and understanding your emotions and others. What I aim to achieve with this speech is to spread awareness of the need for emotional intelligence. We're going to talk about how you can become emotionally intelligent, the benefits thereof, and I'm going to give my personal testimony about utilizing what I have learned about emotional intelligence and how I was not using enough of it at one point in time. So, my name is Katora Walking Stick, and this is why I believe emotional intelligence is so very important. Why do we need emotional intelligence? The main thing that we need to know about this is to be emotionally aware. So let's talk about emotional awareness first. Stress, depression, anxiety, and fear. These are all normal emotions that us humans have. However, a lot of times we let these emotions overcome us, which is not good. This is where it prompts a need for emotional intelligence. Let's start by talking about stress a little bit. Stress is an emotional strain, tension in the body's response to threat or demand. Stress can suppress your immune system, cause hair loss, give you a higher risk of stroke or heart attack, and it speeds up the aging process. So, overly stressing can definitely be taxing on the body. Fear, an unpleasant emotion driven by danger or pain, is another taxing and exhausting emotion. Fear also prompts the fight or flight response or reaction in our bodies. The fight or flight reaction is all about a psychological reaction that happens in primates. This happens when there's an apparent threat that's taking place. What happens in the body is the body lets loose adrenaline, it makes our heart beat faster, and our blood flows to our muscles, making our blood pressure go up. So, this is preparing our body to either fight or flee a dangerous situation. So, think about it this way: if you are always fearful about the unknown or whatever you're going through, that constant fear is making all of this happen in your body, which can be very taxing over time. So, herein is the need for emotional intelligence. Another reason we need emotional intelligence is due to our day to day life. Theorist Goleman suggested that emotional intelligence is almost just as important as our IQ levels and our technical skills. Educational leaders, managers, and parents have a great need to have emotional intelligence in order to effectively train employees, upbring children, and teach students. Goleman also stated that having emotional intelligence prompts us to have self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, and relationship management. We're going to talk a little bit about those in the next part of my speech. So, how to be emotionally intelligent? First of all, self-awareness, which is another one of the things that Mr. Goleman taught us. Self-awareness is understanding one's emotions, strengths, and limitations, and motives. Self-management is a type of self-control and good judgment or sense. So ultimately, just making good decisions. Social awareness is about understanding others' emotions and being open to their positive and negative emotions. And relationship management is all of those three wrapped in one. Another thing is management of emotions. Understanding the effects that emotions can have on your body and taking action to prevent those from taking over is a big piece of emotional intelligence. Also, stress management and self care. Psychology tells us that something you find relaxing, it'll definitely help relieve stress. So, take a run if you like exercising, or do an activity with family and friends. Find a hobby, something that'll rejuvenate you and help you be relieved of stress. So these are just a few ways that you can become emotionally intelligent, and these are great stress managers as well, which stress is a big problem in our world today. So, in summary, again, we talked about what emotional intelligence is, how to become emotionally intelligent, why we need emotional intelligence, and now it's my turn to tell you a little bit about what happened with me and how emotional intelligence changed my life. We'll start with last year. I got married in May of 2019, and just for a couple months later to be told that my husband was getting deployed at the end of the year. So during the end of the year, of course, we have all the fun holidays: Christmas, Thanksgiving, Halloween, New Year's. Me and my husband missed a lot of firsts when it came to holidays and the holiday season. So that put a damper on my spirit. So my husband ended up getting deployed. Well, the beginning of the year, I started school, and I also was starting to lead worship in my church. And while all this was going on, I got notification that my husband's base had been attacked. So, for one, that night was the longest night of my life and the worst night of my life. And that's how I saw it through for many weeks after. With that, then came COVID-19, the lovely pandemic that we're going through right now. And that flipped my work world upside down, as well as my church world upside down. So this was yet another hit on my emotions and my whole being entirely. So thinking about it is very emotional a little bit. So with all of this going on, I constantly harped on this situation. I was having self-pity and thinking so very negatively to where it caused several breakdowns. And like I stated earlier in my speech, this is the reason for this specific breakdown that beautiful morning. So I started researching emotional intelligence, and I realized that my way of thinking and coping was not working. So emotional intelligence taught me that I needed to change my mindset and be aware of my emotions. So what I started doing is, instead of harping on the fact that my husband's base got attacked, I started thinking about how he endured the attack, which is a positive thing. I started thinking about how, yes, work and school can be very stressful, but I'm blessed to be able to still do it here in the comforts of my home, which that's another positive. So I changed my way of thinking, as well as when I would get down, because you're definitely going to have moments that you're going to be down, especially if you're going through deployment or if you're losing someone. You're going to have those low points. What you need to do is you need to find ways to get out of that pitying cycle that I was going through. So anytime that I got really sad, I turned on the TV and watched something very funny to uplift my spirits. Or if I wasn't feeling motivated, I listened to motivational speeches or music that motivated me. This is how emotional intelligence has helped me and is still helping me, because right now I'm not perfect. Even right now, it's hard to control my emotions. But this is what emotional intelligence has done for me. So I would hope that you take these tips and tricks that I have shared here and that I have learned myself, and that you apply it in any situation that you may be going through today. So Again, my name is Katura Walking Stick. I hope you've enjoyed listening to my speech and maybe it's helped you. I hope so. Thank you so much for listening, and this is why I believe emotional intelligence is so very important for the world today. Thank you.